one of the things I'm working on right now is the book Redeeming Identity and a podcast called the He So I Project. And he's like, so what is that about? Great. I love the question. Here's what it basically is about. Is as Christians, we are created and we are called to be the image bearers of God. The challenge is that we don't know who he is. So whenever we go back to that verse where it says a student is not going to be any better than his teacher, right? I tell the men that I work with in my Bible study, if I am your ultimate teacher, you are going to fall into a pit somewhere. What I want you to do is I want you to follow me in as much as you see me following Christ. As I have my eyes on who God is, and I'm learning who God is, and I'm trying to put to death my old identity so I can put on the identity that he has for me, follow me in that.
Yes. It becomes essential, and I think you're alluding to this very well, that if we say, what would Jesus do? And we get the bracelets. I had a children's ministry worker where is quite possibly where the best workers in the church reside. I'll just say that.
Of course.
And she had a lanyard that had a bunch of letters on it. I'm like, man, what does that even say? And she walked through it and she says, how can you say, what would Jesus do when you don't know what Jesus did? And I thought that was brilliant, because there has to be a knowledge of who God is, because I can't know who I'm meant to be if I don't know who he is.
Right.
And so that knowledge of God, all of our transformation is, I don't think it's too big of a statement to say all of our transformation is predicated on knowledge of God.
Right.
And that knowledge and relationship, not just head knowledge, but relationally understanding who he is. Just what you're saying, I'm not the standard. Right. Jesus is the one who defines who I am. And just in you quoting Paul, follow my example as I follow the example of Christ. To the extent that I'm doing that, you can look to me as an example of that. But I'm not where the example ends, because I'm still in process my own self.
Yeah. And Paul would say the same thing. He would say, I am straining forward to become who God created him to be, which is the image of God, the image of Christ. And we're never going to attain it here. And that's okay. But what God is not looking for perfection here. What he's looking for is he's looking for people who are going to be following him and engaging with him and becoming who he wants them to be. And I think that is the other part of discipleship, is that, yes, it is a sacrifice of who we are. We're putting to death. We're trying to turn away, let go of who we once were. But the goal is to take on the new identity so that we can be the image bearers of God that he created us to be. Thank you for joining us on the He So I Project. We are so glad that you joined us for this conversation. If you could just take a moment and in the comments, add either a comment or a thought or a question that you had during this discussion. We would love to hear from you. We will respond, and we'd like you to be part of this conversation. While you're doing that, please subscribe or follow wherever you are listening to this podcast.